Okay, there's a, here, let me sign this. We'll send this around. Everybody sign that for roll call. Okay, so I guess I'm not quite sure how we conduct this meeting as far as covering new business, old business. Since it's our second meeting, I'm assuming pretty much everything is new business.
Pretty much.
And I know at the last meeting, everyone was to bring in some suggestions of ideas. I think one thing that probably would help us is to kind of get an idea of what our focus for this committee, what do we want to focus on?
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's usually, three things as far as, as far as any kind of addiction, prevention, recovery, and then support afterwards. So I think that, if is that kind of what everybody's, you think that kind of narrow down the prevention, recovery, and then support afterwards. So what ideas have we got?
Well, I gave the mayor a little synopsis of the overall picture of what it looks like in the neighboring communities as well as all the counties, the surrounding counties of Middle Tennessee. And just a little brief summary. That's as far as I got. I don't really know what direction this committee is trying to go.
Right. I think that's probably what we do need to kind of nail down. What is our direction?
Yeah.
What are we going to try to tackle?
We need to do more what we're gonna do.
Oh, absolutely.
In Dixon, I don't know if y'all noticed the last 2 months, but I've never seen so many people walking around up there on my lap at homeless. That Freeman House up there, I think when you do your time, if you ain't got a place to go, they just kick you out. You got people, they're living in woods right there and everything. I ain't never seen nothing like it.
I think that's my concern. It's like, when we address recovery, as Nanette and I've talked about this, is there needs to be a support system for people after they are released, or we're going to end up like what they're facing in Dixon.
How long do they allow those people?
I don't really know nothing about it. They told me that's what the problem is. That once they go through their program, whatever it is, and even though they got a place to go, they kick them out.
Wow.
That's just what they tell me now. I don't really know this. I mean, I'm not joking, y'all. I bet there's 10 or 15 of them out there that just living in woods. The law come over at the stockyard the other day and said, "You got any living on here?" I said, "Well, I think there's maybe one or two of them, staying back there in that hay barn when it's cold." But they went over across the interstate and there's some living in the woods over there. They just want to talk to them and tell them they got to move on, go somewhere. Where the crap you gonna go?
They're just going to go to another.
Bypass for 70 when you go up through there and come out of Walmart.
All through there.
Right there, just when you pass that light on your left, there was a big bunch of them. This was 2 or 3 years ago. I mean, they had the old blue tents and all, and it was bad. Because it's swampy over there, and that's where the tents were.
Just heartbreaking.
First thing I think that we really need to identify is what organizations are out here in our county and the neighboring counties. What organizations are out here that are actually doing something about housing people and giving people, like we have a program for people recovering from drugs and alcohol. It's a year program, and we don't let them leave until they have a plan to go somewhere. So that's a little different than what the Freeman place is doing, I think. We need to first identify who's out there that is doing something for this problem. That'd be the first thing, really. And then what exactly do we need to do to help that, help that along? How is it helping the people, and what kind, we have to identify what these places are doing. How long is their programs, for example?
Exactly.
And what do they do with these people when they're done with the program? So that's where to start, for
Joey,
sure.
what was that April talking about, the program, the thing she's doing up there? They got on place for them to live and what else that?
That's all I really know about it, Robert, to be honest with you. I think Randall Howard was here on the last time we done it. Y'all may know more about it than I do.
They might not even got the things built yet.
They have not got it built.
That's the one that's asking us for 20,000, right?
They won't
Probably.
be 20
They
more
want us
thousand.
to put 20,000. The problem there is that the opioid money pretty well is supposed to be spent within your county, not spent somewhere else. She was trying to get around that by saying, okay, we'll set aside 7 rooms for you. But that's not after the program. That's while they're in some type of program. So I'm not sure that the 20,000 really needs to go there, or if there's another way to assist these people.
Have we got any homeless like in Houston County? Is there very many around here?
Homeless?
Yeah, that's living in the woods or whatever. I mean,
Yeah, we do.
I don't think you could,
I've heard that we
I
do.
don't know if you spend opioid money on a homeless person.
well, I mean, people with the drug addiction, like, I mean, but most of them, like your place, when they get through, they got someplace to go, don't they?
They have to have a place to go because we're not gonna throw them out into the woods. That's definitely, first of all, we have a system, we get them a job, they save money, and so they're gonna leave, we get them, they're reconnected with their driver's licenses, okay? I'll pay off their fines, their fees, whatever it is, get them out to either back home to their families, or they have a job, they want to move to a place like the Oxford House after us, or a sober living home maybe for a time until they get on their feet. And we track them for a year after they're gone, because we have a recidivism rate that we report to the courts, to the probation department, parole board, because they want to know if, how effective our program is. So we went from a 6-month program, which was not long enough, to a full year program now. And it's got the aftercare component. So hopefully our numbers are going to start going up. That's
How long did you say your follow-up is?
a year.
So the program's a year, then a follow-up is a year.
Yeah, they don't call them all the time, but they might, random calls, maybe 2 or 3 times after they leave, and wherever they're at, they will contact them and find out how they're doing, because that recidivism rate is very important.
In previous meetings, we've talked more about preventative stuff than anything else. Because we talked about money for giving out stuff at the parade, don't do drugs or whatever, T-shirts, and some of the programs that's already in the county that might be beneficial to donate. Here, if you look, we're talking about, speakers to come to the schools like
That's
they
kind of
did.
what I think we need to do a whole lot more of that. Talk to the young people.
Well, you remember, I guess was it the Nazarene Church that had the guy come in, the football player a few years ago?
They went, had it at the hospital.
Charged, didn't they charge them $7,500 or something like that?
We paid,
We pay
for
2,500.
2,500, what we paid.
And then, but they had some others too. We didn't pay for it all, did we?
No, we paid 2,500 total.
I think,
And
I think Robert's right about what
I
it
think
is.
they charged $7,500 as a total.
Yeah.
What do
Pastor
you think
Metters,
about
he is,
charging guns
if I'm not
and
mistaken,
like
isn't he an overseer of these various rehabilitation programs around? We had a big meeting at his
Yeah,
place
we
one
need to
time.
check on that, see
Yeah.
what they're doing.
Pastor Metters over at the Nazarene Church.
Yeah,
He has contacts with all the various places that are rehab programs and things like what we do.
right.
And
They
there's-
were working on their 501c3.
Yeah,
I remember that. I don't know. We need to check and see how far they've gone, how far they've gotten along with that.
Well, I mean, it's a big problem and it touches all of us. And me and Lisa, it's just lucky that Kimberly's alive with all the crap we've been through. And now she's got hooked up. She went through finally about the 3rd time through the Hope Center program. I mean, we go from Montana, where it's a terrible cold, and she goes to Oklahoma and finally gets straight. And then she gets a job with this Apex out of Columbia. And she's working for Apex, and she's doing a heck of a job.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, as far as somebody that knows what to do and what the other people are thinking, I mean, she would, I'm just telling you, she's good. I forgot how many people she's putting in every month. But, I mean, with our next meeting, if y'all would like her to come and talk to y'all, and she'd have more insight than any of us here, because what she's been seeing
I don't
and
think it
gone
would
through.
hurt us to hear the opinion of other
Yeah.
people that have been through it.
Knowledge is powerful. That's
Exactly.
what you got to have, knowledge to be able to work on things effectively.
I
And that's
think
what
her-
we want to
I think a
do.
lot of the people that she gets in, she tells them what her story.
Yeah.
So we've talked about prevention, but what do we do with the addicts now?
Well, they either wind up in jail, a place like ours, or the woods. That's pretty much the range of, what goes on with these folks.
So
Most of the guys we get have come from jail and stuff.
we can't put them with them.
No.
Yeah.
Hey, really keep them local, because you wouldn't even suggest that, do you?
Do you have, there's safe harbors in other?
We have 5 locations. One is a female facility down in Tipton County. We have a facility in Memphis. We have one in Bucksnort. We have one in Jefferson County on East Tennessee. We have Erin, and we have one in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Do all of them operate the same way?
Oh, yeah. We're all operated by Lighthouse Ministries out of Memphis.
But now, could someone from here go to another location that just can't go to yours?
Yeah, oh, no, we send them out to different, we will send a guy to Bucksnort once in a while. Sometimes they send guys our way. Just depends,
But they can't stay here.
Why not?
Well, they
No, somebody
could,
from
it's just not
Houston County.
suggested, right? I mean,
Y'all
They
don't-
can't
I
stay.
don't house Houston County people down here.
No,
Why
it ain't a
not?
good idea. That's the way with
Yeah, we
Kimberly
do.
whenever
Oh,
she
you
first
did? I
started.
thought
We
you
gotta
came
go-
up last
they
time.
come to.
You gotta go
I
away.
got a guy in there right now. He's right across the street from where we started the storybook line. He's Barrios is his name.
Yeah.
And he lives in that house right there across the road, so he's in our program.
Howard, if since they have facilities all over the place, if, say, a donation was made or contribution to Safe Harbor, although that person may not necessarily stay locally, could it still, I mean,
We donated money to them last year, to Safe Harbor.
for rehabilitation purposes, for
We
recovery
also-
purposes?
We actually done it for your
It was for the facility.
outside facility.
Right, for the outdoor, for the families that come visit, because we do allow the families to come, and the children, so we made a playground, and now we're building a basketball court out there, and we got that gigantic new building that we just did, and so but our capacity at our facility is about 80 some odd, maybe 82. Right now, we're about at 74, so we're almost full,
Yours is all men.
and ours is all men, yes.
What's a treatment? You said it's a year program. How much does it cost for a year's treatment?
What they do is when they come, they pay for their program because we send them to work. So they pay rent, and they save money also, and they also pay child support, fines and fees for their court cases. And they develop. The idea is that when they leave after a year, they have a little money in the bank and they got a place to go. And we'll find them a place to go if they don't have one, and then and have a job.
So they pay for their treatment plan.
Pretty
So
much
you wouldn't necessarily need money
for
from
the
this committee from the legislative body to,
The same way with the Hopes and all of them, they go to work and that money goes into the fund like he told me. About most all of them that's in the camp, that's what they do. But the first thing, if somebody doesn't want to get straight, it don't matter where you send them.
That's right.
They have to want it.
And if the focus, in my opinion, the focus can't be all about the money either. Although, we do have staff people that need to get paid and everything. If somebody doesn't leave there with a serious change of heart and a connection with God in some way, all for naught, because all the money in the world ain't gonna stop you from using, unless you really have,
Back in there in 2 months.
unless you really got a good foundation in something. And
I tell you what really hit me is when we was in Montana, there was an older lady there, been through there just numerous times. And straight, you thought that she gonna make it. And Kimberly then come to Oklahoma, well, then they found out about 6 months later, she just OD'd and died, It's just hard. They gotta have, like you say, they gotta have people to help them all the time.
Gotta have a good support system, definitely.
Hey, Al, did they take any of the bridge that house, or home, or whatever it is.
Mhm.
They take, okay, and they
You
have
mean
been,
from- What'd you say, from Tennessee Ridge?
yeah, that one in Tennessee Ridge.
What is that at Tennessee Ridge?
Well, they do take people with drug problems, but I think they've got men and women up there, but I don't know if it's a treatment facility or just some person.
Me neither. I mean, I know about the Hope Center and I know about Freeman, although I don't know how long, Freeman, I don't know too much about
I don't
Freeman.
think Freeman's been there long, I don't think.
Yeah, yeah. You know, we need to investigate who's doing what in the
Yeah,
communities.
you're right. Yeah, because the main thing is like, who can we refer if we have someone in our community?
I'll
that
tell you,
needs
I'd like
assistance,
to
who
make
we
a
refer to.
presentation to our management team down in Memphis, and I'd like to get somebody from our headquarters to come into one of these meetings and explain a little more detail than I can explain about how the program works and what we do and what our goals are going forward. You know, but there's no lack of people that need this help. Let me just put it to you that way.
I'd like to ask the commission, the council to look at this. It's called TPN. And they've got like 19 agencies across the state, and they come and talk just to the youth. Anybody up to 18 years old. And that might be something that
Yeah.
the council could work with the school.
Yeah,
And I'm pretty sure Scott would give us a couple hours
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
school for that.
I think that's where you need to start at anyway.
I do too.
Well,
And I think this is a pretty good group probably, it looks like. And there's also the Highway Patrol, THP, they have a thing, it's really not, it doesn't mention a lot about drugs, it's more like alcohol abuse and driving under influence and stuff. And they actually come, I can show you on my phone here. It's a big, like one of those vans that people drive up and down the road when they're
Oh,
traveling,
yeah.
but they bring it to your county. And it's actually,
that would be a good thing to
Yeah.
probably get for Irish Day and
This
actually
is-
put it right on the square
this is
for
it.
everybody to go through.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
that's
this is
a great
Highway
idea.
Patrol thing.
Oh, yeah.
And the magazine that I gave you is a county commissioner magazine. And in it this time, it talks about two different counties, Rome County's one, and I don't recall the other one offhand. But anyway, they're talking about the committees they're setting up to deal with the opioid problem that's out there. One of the items in there, and I wrote it down as an idea, is that we hire a part-time counselor, someone that is an experienced counselor, knows the school system in and out, but also understands all of the drug-related issues that are ongoing. And we could actually pay for somebody to do that, and then they would work with the school system, they would work with the juvenile on court, and you could probably set it up so that every child, parent, whoever came through, if they were dealing with drugs or the issues there, is that they'd have to go through a counseling with this particular individual. And I mean, that's something that I think it was Rome County is actually pursuing, or they are doing, and it's already there. But we could probably hire a part-time counselor for that, maybe 24 to 30 hours a week, probably for anywhere from $20,000 to $25,000 of that money. And that might be very good money spent, because you're going to get
We can spend it on
one-on-one.
that, right? We can take that money and spend it on that, because we're.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they're proposing.
Would it work closely with youth in the high school or just?
You could work with anybody. I would say that if you get, the judge comes in here and it's a drug-related case, they could say, okay, you've got to deal with this person and be counseled, and at least get the conversations going with these people. And then she could be, or he could be, to the point where they knew where all these programs were to help people with that. But they would be kind of our Houston County Central repository of information and help. And they could direct them to Hope. They could direct them to wherever they needed to go. I think that's one idea that I was picked up from that magazine that's there.
Well, I was thinking it would be, I got this from Smith County. There's all kinds of efforts that are being made all across the state, all across the nation.
Right.
Somebody may have already got a great idea that we just don't know of. But it's hard for us all out there to try to collect all that information. But if you had someone that's what their job is to be out there searching.
They had somebody that come in train or with the person.
They went out and in their case, they hired somebody that had these particular skills, that had 30 plus years in the school system and knew what was going on. So they were dealing with that. Let me give you the rest of my ideas. And part of it's for prevention and part of it goes along with that. So we're talking about prevention. I'd like to see us use part of the money. And I mean, I'm only talking here, $600 for the first initiative. And that's that we go to the schools, we go to the churches, whoever, it doesn't make any difference. And for the Irish Day Parade, the best anti-drug float or truck, doesn't make any difference to us. However they decorated, the best one would give them $300. The second best would give $200. The third would give $100. But I mean, if you're putting multiple people out there, at least in their mind, they're seeing it more than once. And then another thing on that is that we would have a booth down here in which that if we could get the highway patrol thing and have that there, we could have a booth with somebody talking about anti-drugs. And then I was hoping that we could go to you. And what I was saying is, let's do a quote contest, and the money they get goes in their kitty for when they get through. Is let's have the people that are actually having to go through the project to write a short story in which they say, okay, I got started this way.
Testimony.
Right, it's a testimony, and this is what it's done to me, and this is where I'm hoping to go. But I've got a long way to go. And what we do is that we give money for the top 5. We give $200 for the best, we give $150 for second, and the fifth we give $50. But that way, we put it in the booth and we show it. Okay, here are people that are in a program, they're trying to get better, and this is how it started. Because I think a lot of kids and people themselves, they don't really know how they get started. Oh, I'm going to try this type thing, and it goes from there. But that's prevention. But then I think where we find somebody that can do the counseling, and Scott's going to have to be involved with this one back there. But if we can find a person and partner with the school system or someone else to have a person that's in this courtroom when Markley's up here and says, okay, you're here because of this, you've got to see this person and receive counseling. I mean, that's hitting the point directly where somebody has come back. I mean, those are some of the things that magazine kind of triggered that are going with
What you're suggesting already exists, not maybe in Houston County, but there are several people that bring people from the court system in different counties to Safe Harbor. We have a lady, her name is Nikki Green, and she brings she brings guys, she recommends them to come from the court. She directly communicates with the court, and she's a counselor, and she has all kinds of things that she does, and allows the people to come to our facility. There's about 3, I don't know the names of the others off the top of my head. There's about 3 or 4 of those folks from all over Tennessee that specifically bring people to different centers, not just Safe Harbor, but the Hope Center and all everywhere.
And that costs you money. Well, we could pay for those.
She's from Canada, Liquor.
I believe so. You know Nikki Green?
I do.
Yeah. Good lady, right?
The other piece of that too is that drugs destroy a family's finances.
Yeah.
There's no question. And I know somebody sitting out here, I've seen in the paper that does financial guidance and suggestions. That's another thing too. It's kind of like many years ago, they talked about people smoking. how much does a pack of cigarette cost? What could you buy for that? Well, I mean, okay, drugs are costing you this, it's costing your family. Hey, look what you're taking away from your kids, that kind of stuff. And it's education as much as anything.
That on the essays that come there, I think you have to get with the paper and the winners for all of them once a week, put something in there.
Well, yeah, I mean, that would be good, but the only problem I see there is that you want these people to be anonymous. They need to be real
Well, no,
people.
I mean, you don't have to say who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, this, yeah, hey, this is the thing.
Because just the booth, I mean, that's a benefit, but more people, so many more people see you at the paper. And it can just, and you can just say that.
I mean, we have a rehabilitation fair right here in Erin every year, right? And we have booths set up with all the different facilities that do this kind of work that we do. We had a booth there. Bucksnort did. Erin did, but Bucksnort did. And there's a Hope Center, and there's all these other.
Which is in Compass County.
Oh, it's right here. It was at their fairgrounds in Erin. It was last year.
I think it needs to be right in the middle of town during our stuff.
Yeah. Well, that would be who I would talk to there is Pastor Metters.
See, the thing there too is that we could pay for the booth spaces, so there's no cost to any group that wants to do it. And I mean, we could actually set up a budget, and we're going to talk later. We've got a meeting with the about our January.
I think that's a great idea, a testimony idea.
We could actually set aside a certain amount of money to go ahead and do that and get it approved Monday to do this. And we can do those things, but we need to say, yeah, we're going to do it or we're not going to do it. But
I'll make a motion that gives the mayor authority to contact the state so we can get at least the booth, because if we don't do that soon, we're not going to get it. It's only about a month and a half away.
The T and K.
The state, he was talking about.
I second that.
Okay, so the motion is to have the mayor contact for the band for our sake. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
If they don't want to set it up, if they don't want to set it up in town, can we still ask them to come through the parade?
Yeah, sure.
I think that'd be good.
If they
We
did
want them at
want
the
to
parade.
set
We
up
want
in county,
visibility.
if they'd want to set up it,
We want visibility. That's what you got to.
you know, like if
I gotta get permission from them. That's what I was talking to Scott about there a minute ago. I have to talk to the principal. I think it'll work, but,
First thing is just find out if they can do it.
you know, find a place to set them up downtown.
Well, that'll be Dustin. Yeah, that'll be Dustin. Let him figure that out.
Mhm.
Well, what you put on this person.
Yeah, I think it'd be good.
Yeah.
I will reach out to them.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of that?
Yes,
And secondly, what we're talking, we talked several times about doing stuff in the parade, shirts, whatever. If we're gonna do anything, we need to get started again. It's only about a month and a half.
I was fixing to ask, I'd like to have $5,000 for parade, for the shirts and stuff like we did last year.
well, if you all agree to the school organizations, church organizations, and awarding them money, prize money for the best truck or float or whatever, we could tie that all together. And then at the same time, the testimony thing, we could do that together. We could put, instead of 5,000, we'll ask for 6,500. And that way we can get it approved next Monday night.
We just need to know tonight, but we get it approved Monday night.
Well, I'll make a motion that we get the $5,000 for the items to hand out, and additionally to do the float contest and the hope testimonies, et cetera.
One second.
Okay, so it was for, handouts The hope,
Drug-related items for the handout of ours. Whether it be T-shirts or
and the float contest.
float contests and
And that was 5,000 for all of those.
No,
6,500.
testimony. You want to set up some kind of a booth or something.
the testimonial thing.
The best top three.
Yeah.
Top three, and we could actually specify, okay, doing a float's a big deal, but you could dress a truck up and however you wanted to dress it up, et cetera. Wouldn't cost you that much, but who's got the most creative ideas? That way, we're getting ideas from multiple people, not just us, so.
So this will go to vote for to the board, to the county commission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess as soon as that's approved, we probably need to get that on the chamber website so that we can get the information out.
I'm wondering if the people that are, you got certain groups that's gonna have floats anyway in the parade.
Right.
Could you get them involved, to get them to add? I don't know if they'd even want to add opioid abuse on the floats or something, a little something, but I don't know if they'd even be, I don't know if you're gonna find.
I don't know. I mean, it's up to them at that point.
Yeah, I'm just
It's
saying,
out, it's open to everybody, so if they want to do it.
it's a big deal putting a float in the parade and getting people to do it. And,
Yeah.
Well, if we had that booth that we're going to do testimonies at, maybe that's the place where we give away T-shirts and pens and whatever kind of stuff you're going to give out.
we give a picture when I come to the parade. That's what I did last year. We gave them out walking down the street.
Should we do some kid shirts too? I mean, most of them.
That's what we will do.
Oh, I'm talking about small.
Mostly, yes.
Size 8 and 6s instead of small, medium, and large.
Yes.
For the little kids.
I think we need to do it.
Cause
all for the kids.
normally, what's been thrown out, from everybody is more the big stuff. for
More the
adults.
bigger size, like what last year.
Yeah,
We-
and we need to touch the other one more. Do
Yeah.
yeah,
You're right.
Other size.
just anything like it. You can throw it out. There's bound to be somebody in the family that could wear it.
Somebody will wear it.
Within that 6,500, that would also pay for the booth and entrance into the parade, et cetera. We don't want anybody to be having to spend money out of their organization or their pocket. So we want them to participate, so we'll cover the cost.
Mhm. And then we extend an invitation to like the Hope Center, Safe Harbor, the Freeman Clinic, or whoever wants to be involved with that can send, their two or three of their people that want to participate in it.
Or say your people could actually assist them in decorating a car, truck, whatever it might be.
We got bands, we got
Bands, that would be good.
Yeah.
We have a motion and a second. Is everyone in favor or whoever's in favor, say aye.
Do you ever take your people to something like a school or a church and let them talk to them?
We haven't, but that would be something that could be, we'd certainly like to participate in something like that.
I mean, that'd be a testimonial type thing.
I had the opportunity today, we had the Ayers Foundation counselors from the high school that came to Rotary and spoke, and I had the opportunity to kind of speak with them for a few minutes and just ask them, knowing that we were going to have this meeting, if there was anything that we could do in the high school. And they were very willing to think on this. I mean, they really were interested in helping us come up with some ideas. And one idea they did have, they've been wanting to do for years, several last couple of years, was a, what's it called, project graduation. And it's where graduation night, all the kids stay in one location. They're not allowed, because it's one of the most dangerous nights outside of prom night for young kids. So they were basically have a lobby-in at a location, and they have games, and they just try to keep them busy through the night. But I thought that might also, if we were interested in maybe supporting an effort like that, also bring in speakers, and you could bring in someone who might, maybe a really good speaker to come in and talk to these kids, because they're gonna be heading out into the world after graduation. I didn't know if that was something y'all might be interested in, but like I said, the Ayers Foundation counselors were very interested in helping us come up with some ideas that might work at the high school.
I think a lock-in would be good. I don't see a speaker, to be honest, because those kids want to celebrate.
Yeah.
You're not going to sit and listen to
That's
somebody.
not the venue, but
Yeah.
maybe going to the school before the graduation or something like that and hearing a couple of guys tell the story about what happened to them and how they started out just as normal people and wound up going down the wrong path, could speak volumes to some of these young people.
If you could keep them off the streets at night, that'd be the biggest thing.
I don't know enough about how the funding, could the funding be used for something like that?
Yes.
So that might be something we could consider
You
working
can
with the high school on
tie into opioid
prevention.
prevention. That's key, and I mean, we have a committee that comes and checks us, and as long as we tie it into something with opioids, we're fine.
Okay.
It's gotta be tied into.
Now, what about opioids are,
Drug abuse, opioid drug abuse.
that would also include things like fentanyl and any opiate, any kind of drug that would be considered an opiate, because there's, many different Suboxone, and for example, and, these people get hooked on prescription medication, and then they can't get that no more, so they go out to the street and get fentanyl. So that's, it all ties in to opioid abuse, actually.
I
It
feel
all
like,
comes back to education too.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because a lot of the people that get addicted to the opioids, whether it's an accident they're in or they just choose to do it, then you can go to all these clinics around and you can get your Suboxone and stuff like that. But what they don't tell them is you can't abuse that either. You're supposed to take it just like they tell you.
Yeah.
If you don't, then you're gonna have to go somewhere to get off of that.
Yeah,
So it's all the education
Yeah.
and the different steps that people going through a program, and it's back to having that support group, going through the program, getting out, getting educated on these bad trails they can go down
we have
that they don't know about,
plenty of
because I
men
know people
who are
who've done
on different various medications at our facility. We monitor the medications. There is a guideline. We will not allow any opiates of any kind in the program. They can take mental health, stuff, bipolar medication, that kind of thing. We have PCS. We have a connection with the PCS of Zoom meetings with counselors and therapists that will prescribe medication for the guys. But it cannot be anything that would be considered a dirty test, because that would not work. And so we don't allow them to have any kind of medication that would, be threatening to the community.
And they're educated on that.
Oh,
So that's why
absolutely.
your program has such a good success rate.
so I feel like just what we've talked about tonight, this committee would really like to focus on prevention. That's kind of where it sounds like the vice direction.
There's one other issue from the last meeting I think we need to bring up, and she came in and the reporter from the newspaper here last time talked about a K-12 calendar, and it's an interesting idea, and what I'd like to see is push forward with beginning with the next school year. And would you like to talk about that again?
Sure, but another lady had said that you guys weren't able to do fundraisers like that. So it would have to be somebody else that would take the lead on it. But the calendar idea is basically get each grade, get a prize for the best prevention. You're talking about prevention. Let the kids come up with an idea for a drawing for the calendar, and each month could be a different grade. We have 12 grades, right? We do a 13-month calendar to include kindergarten. And so the best, they vote on it, you go vote on it, choose the one you like, and then the calendar you can sell as a fundraiser. But if it's a fundraiser, you'd have to have somebody else take the lead on that for legality purposes. But the kids can get involved that way. And then, parents and grandparents, they'd love that kind of stuff. I know I do. I'd buy one, so.
I think the opioid committee could probably help with the calendar part, take care of that.
Right.
The fundraising part might
Right.
be different.
And it'd be a fun thing because then the kids, the student who gets chosen to not only have their month be the picture for January, February, that kind of thing, but they can also get like a $50 gift card or something. And so the parents have fun with it too, because then they can take their kids out and spend a little bit. And then, of course, as they get older, the junior and seniors, you could do scholarships for them.
I know it's a lot to throw in with what we're talking about, but I think we need to focus on our next meeting on that as the calendar idea so that we can get it put together. And then see, let me ask Scott. Scott, you all produce a school year planner.
We have a calendar. We've already done that, just calendar, that's what we got.
Okay, is it like a planner or is it just a calendar?
Just a calendar for parents and everybody know what days we're in school, what days we're out of school.
And you just give it to the parents?
Yeah, they'll get them every year in their pack.
So are you talking about a calendar yourself? You talking about grades 1 through 12?
K through 12. And then the students would draw a picture of something to do about drug prevention. And then the students, each month for like, let's say January is kindergarten. And then the 13th month would be January the following year. So you have a 13-month calendar. And so that might be like seniors. And then one student that the board or whoever would be on your group could choose, hey, we like this one the best for January. And so that student gets the honor of being that month and the school that they're part of.
I may be speaking out of turn, okay, but I think you give the child $250 for each grade. That's $3,250.
Right.
And I think it makes it a little more interesting to the kid. But it's not gonna hurt us on our finances either. $250 for grades kindergarten through 12 would be $3,250.
Do we want to put that on the agenda for the April meeting?
I think it needs to be
March,
March.
But I think that's a good idea though. It will get more kids involved.
And parents.
The thing is if we could do it in March, then we can have it pretty well, they could do it maybe by the end of the school year. So when school starts again, they're gonna hand out the calendar. We've got it ready to go in the back.
Right
So
there.
that's the next meeting.
Yeah, okay. So for the purpose of this meeting, as we're probably be wrapping up here a little bit, so is it okay for me to discuss the senior night, the graduation night issue, project with the school, the counselors at the heirs?
I don't know.
And the principal.
And the principal, yeah,
Principal of the high
principal, well, they have to get permission to do the school board anyway, but, so we're just at the beginning discussion of this. But, what other issues, we're gonna bring up for the next meeting?
Well, you had 2 people that volunteered to get somebody here to come and talk about things that can be done. Maybe one of them could be the program.
Robert and Al,
Yeah.
Arrange that, right?
you wanna get that next meeting?
Are we just going, do we need to meet quicker the next month to do any of that other stuff? Or are we good if we just meet at the regular time next month?
If we do what he's got on the agenda for tonight, we'll be good until March. We won't have to have
Yeah, we'll get the money set up for Monday night, so. Approval.
Okay. Do we need to open it up for public?
You can ask if
Well,
anybody
you-
wants to public.
What about when you're gonna be in March? The salary celebration too, you probably need to get together tonight.
After.
We're gonna start,
Yeah.
we need to wait till after our day.
Yeah, great.
Everybody, we're gonna start budget talks. Are we gonna start budget talks the week of ours? That's when we're gonna have our first meeting, or the week after.
We can.
Week after. We'll try to set it up where maybe we can do it at 5 again. That would be March 18th. That work.
Actually, the 15th is the third Saturday. I think.
Yeah, we do it. We meet Tuesday after Father's Day, be the 18th.
Okay.
We start the budget talks that night. We just do it at 5, if that's all right with y'all. Will that work for you, Robert?
It's too far out.
Well, you just wanted to ask the question.
I just have to plan and show up.
It'll work. He'll
It's
have
like making a dentist appointment.
He'll have him.
And once you know 6 months in advance, you know.
You can ask me about.
Do we have anyone in the audience that would like to comment on this meeting or have any suggestions for this meeting?
If not,
If not,
make a motion for adjournment.
I entertain a motion for adjournment.
I made that motion.
Who made the motion?
Well,
Who made the second?
Al.
Al? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So the comment.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, you too.
Down here.